Hi my loves, welcome to your Cosmic Weather Report for the week ahead. I'm bringing the sunshine energy with my jumper today in the hope that in this week that we get the summer solstice, we also get a little bit of sunshine. It's just started raining here now as I'm recording this, so I was like, do you know what, I'm going to bring the sunshine vibes to this weather report in the hope that we start to see it coming through. But we've got a really big week this week, as in a shift of energies. You'll be happy to know it's going to help us to go down a gear. So after we've been in all those big Gemini energies, which have been wonderful for ideas and inspiration coming in, it's also, I don't know about you, but it's also felt like a lot. It's felt like being pulled in many different directions. And as you maybe know, the past few weeks in the weather reports, we've been really working energetically with our minds and the noise in our heads and how our thoughts create our reality. We've been very up in our heads, in the busyness of our heads, in the busyness of the outside world. And with the shift into Cancer season, it's going to help us now to begin to slow down a little bit, to begin to rest, to begin to nourish ourselves, and to begin to move out of the noise in our heads into a sense of intuition and deep inner knowing and coming within. And so it is going to be a really welcome shift. There is going to be a sense, I feel, that we're all going to go like, and just take a really big, deep breath. So the energy begins on Monday, where we get Mercury conjunct Venus. Then these two move into Cancer, and then they both square Neptune. So first of all, Mercury meeting Venus is going to be a wonderful opportunity to really begin to understand your values, to understand what it is that you want, what are the values that you want to live by. And we're also going to be shown, as this week moves on, where we've really been out of alignment with our values or pulled in directions that take us not only out of alignment with our values, but also out of alignment with ourselves, where we've been giving too much of ourselves away and too much of our energy and too many pieces and parts of ourselves. So there's going to be a big energy this week of beginning to gather everything back again, back to you, back to yourself. So with this Mercury and Venus conjunction, not only will we feel that understanding of your values, but there's also going to be a deeper understanding of yourself, a real self-understanding, a self-knowing, as though all of a sudden, beneath all the noise of the outside world, there's suddenly a moment where you go like, oh, this is who I am. Okay, this is it. And we're going to really begin to drop out of our heads and into our hearts, into our souls, into that quiet and calm within, into that depth of our inner wisdom and inner knowing and our intuition. We're also, as Venus and Mercury meet, going to really begin to understand and find a deep inner sense of our own self-worth. So we've worked on that a little bit over the past few weeks as well, on where we look outside of ourselves for approval and permission and validation, and we outsource our worth. And with this shift in these two planets, I mean, it's so magical that these two planets meet, they move into Cancer together, and then they both square Neptune. This is a moment where we get to come inwards and realize that everything that we need is already within us. Everything we need is already in there. And we start to look within rather than looking out. And so there will be a moment of real self-worth. And with that, with this Cancer energy, there's going to be a sense of wanting to nurture yourself, nourish yourself, take care of yourself, really see where you have been running yourself ragged or giving too much of yourself away or overly worrying about certain things and overthinking things. And there's going to be this really big moment where you're going to want to just know that you're worthy and deserving of rest, of slowing down, of giving back to yourself, of allowing your own needs to be met. And so there will be this big, not only gear change, I just keep seeing the gear change. The gear change is slowing down, but it's not only a slowing down, but it's a return inwards. It's a real return into, this is who I am, this is what I'm worthy and deserving of. And with that big focus on understanding your values and your worth, this is what I want. This is what I want to live by. Our intuition is going to be very heightened. Our psychic abilities are going to be very heightened. our emotions might also be a little bit heightened. So just to speak to this just for a moment, we might find heightened emotions as we move into Cancer season, which will happen in a couple of days' time, and we start to now move into a lot more Cancer energy. Cancer energy, although it's mothering and it's nurturing and it helps us to soften, it can take us into our emotions. And it can sometimes have us either wanting to, like the crab with the claws, like lash out. And again, if you've been giving too much of yourself away, people have been taking advantage of, people have been just pulling you in every direction, you might want to like lash out and just be like, leave me alone. And equally, we can have a tendency to want to go into our shell and just kind of withdraw and be able to then start to feel into the depths of what's going on beneath the surface. So do just remember that our emotions are only ever signposts. They're only ever showing us where we're in or out of alignment with ourselves, with our values, with what we want. And so if you are feeling a little bit of heightened emotion through this week, be with your emotions, go into them and sit with them and check in with, how am I feeling? And the chances are that your emotions are going to show you where you have just been run ragged out there in the outside world with barely anything to give, but still giving and giving, and ask you then to turn it back to yourself. So things like resentment, frustration, anger are all just signs of where we've just either let boundaries be crossed or given too much of ourselves away, or said yes when we meant no and no when we meant yes. And so pay attention to what you're feeling and use what you're feeling as a real signal to, where do I need to take better care of myself? Where do I now need to turn this energy back to myself and begin to give myself what it is that I really need, and start to listen within. Very often, the way to our intuition and deepening knowing is through the voice of our emotions, because we sometimes don't listen to our emotions. We try to avoid them. I don't want to feel like that. I don't want to feel this. I'm not going to listen. I'm just going to run away. But then how are we ever going to get into the depths of what our deep intuition wants to tell us? So the doorway in is normally by, first of all, listening to emotions, so we can realize where we're in or out of alignment, gather ourselves back, and then start to find a deeper sense of trust in ourselves to then go deeper into the wisdom within. So really pay attention to what your inner world is saying to you. Now, on this same day, these planets are going to square Neptune. This is a wonderful opportunity now for Neptune is the planet of dreams, but Neptune is also the planet that dissolves. Neptune is the planet of illusion. So this is going to show you where you've been living by illusions in your life, where you've been seeing things in a way that they're not, or you've been wearing rose-tinted glasses. Sometimes Cancer season and Cancer energy can bring up a little bit of nostalgia, a little bit of the way things used to be. We can sometimes find ourselves looking back on situations and be like, oh, it actually wasn't so bad. But Neptune's going to help us to see where there have been illusions, where we've been thinking something or someone is a certain way and they're not. And as we realign back with our values, our truth, we're going to start to be able to see that actually this isn't quite the way that I thought it was, and this isn't something that I want to be involved in anymore, or something I want to put up with anymore, or something I want to deal with anymore. And this Neptune energy is also going to help us to dissolve those limiting thoughts and beliefs we've been working with. So as we drop from our heads into our bodies, into our wisdom, into our emotions, intuition, inner knowing and our feeling, we're then going to be able to start to dissolve some of the noise in here as we come into a deeper anchoring and understanding of our self-worth and who we really, really are. Now, Thursday, then, we get another big day on Thursday. So we get the sun then squares Neptune, the sun moves into Cancer, and this is the summer solstice. So first of all, as the sun squares Neptune, this is going to bring about one of two things. The sun squaring Neptune can, first of all, make us feel confused, uncertain, and there could be some disappointment there. And this is especially powerful because the summer solstice is exactly halfway through the traditional year, and the word solstice means standing still. So this is the day we pause, we stop, we stand still, and we take stock of where we are in our lives. And so what you might find with the sun square Neptune is that you look back at the first half of the year with disappointment. Well, I haven't achieved anything, and I haven't done anything, and what's even happened this year, and I haven't done what I said I wanted to do, and I haven't done what I wanted to do, and instead I wasted all my time doing that instead of doing that. And this is such powerful medicine, because this is going to once more show you where you've given too much of yourself away, where you focused too much on what other people wanted and didn't pay enough attention to yourself. So the sun moving into Cancer, as well as everything that Mercury and Venus moving into Cancer brings us, this intuition, this inner knowing, going deep into ourselves, is going to help you to really come home to yourself, to really begin to gather back all those parts of you that have got scattered and lost and abandoned and given away, and gather everything back to yourself. And then to really rest in that space of yourself and to really give yourself what it is that you need. The summer solstice, as well as being that day that we stop still and we assess and we look at things, it's the longest day of the year. And this is the moment where we begin to really look at who we want to be and what we want to make of the next 6 months. So this is a big energy for looking ahead of, where have I been so far? What can I celebrate? Where is the perhaps confusion, disappointment? And taking that, where do I want to be in 6 months' time? Where do I want to be in 6 months? And this is going to really be helped then by Friday. We get Mercury sextile Mars. Now, as this happens, it's going to bring about a big sense of purpose and a clear direction, and this is what I want and this is what I'm going to go after. Now I'm back at home in myself, and I've gathered myself, and I know myself, and I'm here with myself, and I'm nourishing and nurturing and taking care of myself, and I know my values and I know my worth. This is what I want. And there's going to be this renewed sense of purpose and this renewed desire to move forwards in your own direction, which then is going to be really backed up beautifully on Saturdays. We get the Capricorn full moon. Now, this is the first of 2 Capricorn full moons, which is really powerful energy. And this Capricorn full moon is going to help us to take everything the week showed us so far and to really build something for the long term, to look at our long-term goals, to look at when we've discovered more about ourselves, we've gone into our intuition and our inner knowing, we've gathered back parts of ourselves, we've started to rest and nourish and nurture ourselves. We've maybe looked at what we're disappointed about or what we feel that we didn't do over this year. And now we're going to make those long-term plans for, if you looked ahead to 6 months' time, where do you want to be by the end of this year? Who do you want to be by the end of this year? And what do you need to begin to do now to make that happen? And this is also a theme of the summer solstice itself, that we use that peak energy of the sun and light and life to really bring to life what it is that we want. And with that Neptune energy, Neptune is about daydreaming. So start to daydream about what you want, start to visualize what you want, start to really look forwards to what you want in your future. But what do you need to be doing now to do that? And so any confusion, any emotion you're feeling over this week is a really beautiful indication of where you need to then turn that energy back to yourself, come home to yourself. And it's almost like a reorientation. Is that a right word? It's almost like this week, it's like we've been spinning in circles and we've been going round and round and round and round and going, oh my God, oh, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what direction I'm going. And all of a sudden we're going to get stop. It's like when you used to play that game when you were kids and you spin someone around blindfolded. It's like that. And then we're going to get to stop. And then we're going to get to go, oh, and open our eyes and go, how am I in this direction? Oh, no, let me reorient now. This is the direction I want to go in. So we're going to get to reorient ourselves. So it's going to be a really beautiful week. As I say, there's going to be a sense of slowing down, of nourishing and nurturing ourselves, of resting a little bit more. If you do want to work with these solstice energies, we have got a soul space class, which is a kind of movement meditation class where we're really going to work with these solstice energies. That is on, I think it's Wednesday night. And then for the Capricorn full moon, if you want to know all about that, there is either the Lunar Living Sisterhood, or we always do a ritual pack around each moon, which contains all you need to know, and meditation and journal prompts to get you to really kind of work with those lunar energies. And this is going to be a very big and powerful full moon as we get those 2 Capricorn moons, one at the very beginning of Capricorn, one at the very end, that are really going to help us now to put plans in place for the second half of the year, and to, now we've found our new direction, to really look at how it is that we're going to get there. So I wish you a beautiful week as always, my darlings. I'm sending you so much love, and I'll be back with you very soon.